Isn't he the one with the bladder control issues?
Yeah, Wizard!
He's a former child star. Oh, just lock him up and throw away to jail.
Hello, I'm Larson Halleck. Welcome back to Failsons. We all love a celebrity meltdown, eh? Especially when it's a D-lister who had his 15 minutes of fame 20 years ago as a teenager and is now a giant flaming toilet fire. So with that being said, what in the blue hell happened to Aaron Carter? Like, even by ex-child star standards, this is a sordid little saga, so let's get right to it then. Aaron Charles Carter, born 1987, is a former child pop star and actor, the younger brother of Backstreet Boy Nick Carter, and he's most known for, that cover of I Want Candy that's used in the trailer of literally every shitty kids movie ever made. He did several albums, some crappy movie nobody's ever seen, and then he kind of disappeared around 2005 at the age of 18. Being that I'm not a homosexual, I was never a fan of his, but I do recognize that he was pretty popular in his heyday. I am of course not using homosexual as an insult, but I am referring to how much of the fan base for both Carter brothers and the Backstreet Boys on the whole is nowadays made up to a large extent of gay men, which is stunning and brave and wonderful, obviously, Susan. And by his heyday, I am of course referring to how if you were watching Nickelodeon in the very early 2000s, as I was, then you have by definition seen the music video for That's How I Beat Shaq about 20,000 times. And now I'm starting to think that this fall from grace is all an elaborate revenge plot on the part of Mr. O'Neill himself. But I don't want to be conspiratorial, people, which is why I will not be referencing the, speculation regarding some bad touch from one Lou Pearlman alleged in some circles, and I believe Mr. Carter himself alluded to at one point. I can't prove that, we're just going to stick to things that we can prove. And what we can prove is that Carter the Jr. has lost his goddamn mind. But let's go, let's dive into the Carterverse. What is the Carterverse? It's simultaneously multiple things. First of all, it is what remains of his fan base, which consists mostly of 30-something women who had crushes on him when they were in middle school, gay people, and irony bros. The Carterverse is that, but it's also the web of exhibitionism and insanity that he lives in today. In watching this video, you too are within the Carterverse, and so am I. God help us all. So after his 15 minutes of fame dried up, things, didn't go well. His brother filed a restraining order against him for threatening to murder his wife.
I wanted to kill Lauren Kate and her unborn baby.
I'm trying to do bodily harm to his wife. I want to kill my brother's wife and his unborn child.
And in 2006, the IRS came a-calling for $1.5 million in back taxes he owed from what he made at the height of his popularity. Yeah, it turns out teenagers don't really have the best fiduciary skills. It didn't help that his mom was also swiping a lot of his earnings. He then settled his debts in 2014. Man, 8 years to pay off your debts? Jesus, man, you challenge Shaq and this is what happens. How did he make his money back? Apparently by selling merch. What merch and to whom? Well, let's deal with this one at a time. His merch involves exclusive hoodies and other apparel with art that he blatantly stole from some German guy. And really, this lion design is pretty lame. I mean, it's far inferior to the Three Wolf Moon shirt. He apparently still does concerts on occasion. Who the devil is paying for this twitchy meth head to perform? I have no idea. Oh, and by the way, I'm not using the term meth head facetiously. He literally does do meth and also huffs spray paint on occasion, as well as a cornucopia of other drugs. But don't take my word for it.
Never do that. No, I was mixing it with Zans and everything, yeah. Huffing duster because I was huffing dusters and smoking crack.
He also makes money by growing marijuana in his house. He's got some kind of hydroponics setup or some such. The home that he owns with his, wife, plastic sex doll. I don't know who this person is. This person. And apparently they have a baby, which is, distressing. He really needs the money too, considering that he's been arrested multiple times for DUIs, speeding, and various marijuana-related charges. He had to pay the bail for those, and presumably also pay for that atrocious ink all over his face. Look into his eyes here. That is a man whose soul is dead. Not only is his soul dead, but his hygiene standards are also dead. Like, what is this? Like, why does he have a film of, like, some kind of stank grime on his armpit? It's like a layer of mold. What is that? Ew. I can only assume that after their basketball game, Shaq must have hit him with a variation of the quivering palm. The Shaq-quivering palm, if you will. It's so insidious that it destroys your soul and leaves you a dead-eyed, battered husk after 15 years.
Beat Shaq.
Oh my god, he thinks it was real. But like the proverbial old lion, Aaron is a fighter if nothing else, which is why he challenges people to box whenever he can, and hey, wait a minute. My, this is a interesting congruence of physical appearances. Do you just start to look like this when you become a delusional wannabe fighter? Yeah, don't do meth, kids. Actually, come to think of it, this haggard meth head look extends beyond the fake fighters who boast on the internet. Yeah, that guy who Megan Fox left her husband for, Shotgun Pete or whatever the hell his name is. Yeah, he has that lanky-haired meth head look, too. Is this just like the look nowadays? I mean, I'm not really with the kids, but God help us. People were complaining about that heroin chic look that girls were doing in the 90s. They were saying it was a bad influence. But I don't hear anybody complaining about the meth head chic look that dudes are doing nowadays. Anyway, so as far as I am aware, he's done exactly one fight with Lamar Odom. Let's see how that went. So here's Aaron looking like a tatted up 12-year-old fighting against a pro athlete. 175 pounds versus 239 pounds. What in the actual hell is this? And, oh God, Chuck Liddell's reffing? There's something deeply disrespectful about putting a legitimate world champion fighter as the ref of a celebrity boxing match between a drug-addicted, washed-up child star and a retired athlete 64 pounds heavier than him. I mean, this is like putting Leonardo da Vinci as the judge of a finger painting contest. Anyway, Aaron runs across the ring and hits him with a combination, and Odom just stands there and takes it. Well, that's not a good sign. One left hook puts down the smaller man, and then Odom proceeds to jab him about 20,000 times, using his overwhelming reach to keep the distance. Why, yes, this is what would happen if Aaron actually challenged Shaq at anything. And okay, I'm going to stop doing this. I have officially run that joke into the ground. Okay, Carter's been knocked down twice, and his opponent has done nothing but jab. Then he does a couple of spinny majigs. I don't know what he's doing here. Yeah, that went exactly as I expected, and such was his one-fight career. Oh wait, I'm sorry, make that 2 fights. He had a fight with his brother Nick over Xanax or something.
Let me tell you something real quick. You're gonna turn the music down and respect me,
Hey,
all right?
spit in my face,
all right?
dog. Don't spit in my face,
all right?
man.
You're gonna respect
Don't
me.
spit in my
You're gonna
face.
respect me.
Don't spit in my
You're gonna
face,
respect
Nick.
me.
My room. What are you doing?
Yeah, he lost that one too. But not before we see the dopest of dance moves. Anyway, they proceed to bitch at each other for a really long time, while Aaron does some kind of chicken pose. Also, Nick sounds disturbingly like a teenage William Zabka when he starts screaming. I thought I should mention that.
You gotta understand, I'm not coming down on you. And that's what sucks. I'm not your dad, man. I'm your brother. I'm asking for respect.
That sucks. I did my best. What did you say? I said I did my best.
I'm sorry too. All right? Dude, you held your weight. I'm not, you know what? We're brothers. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I say some mean things sometimes.
Dude,
Go ahead.
But then they hug it out so it's all okay, until the, threats to murder your wife and child happened. And speaking of, oh dear God, he owns a gun, and it's tactical to bejesus and back. What else does he do for money? Why, he pimps himself out for money, basically. He has an OnlyFans, and he apparently made $30,000 on his first day, and why are people enabling this? For the love of God, why is there so much full frontal male nudity in this job? I didn't sign up for this when I made my YouTube account. I was a bright-eyed 24-year-old fresh out of grad school. This isn't what I signed up for. I didn't want to see dicks, but there's so many dicks. Like, why? At least I can take solace in that Aaron's nudity isn't quite as horrifying as Nick Avocado's or Nathan Larson's. And it's horrible that that's my standard. And no, I'm not showing the pictures here, you cretins. Oh, and speaking of drug-addled nudity, he was also going to be part of some Vegas review called Naked Boys Singing. But he was canned, pun unintended, due to not wanting to get vaccinated for the coof. Because not being vaccinated in the midst of your sweaty, naked twink review, that would just be unsanitary. Also, he's apparently under the impression that 9/11 caused his problems. More specifically, the attacks traumatized him so badly, they made him do drugs and he is also afraid of flying. Hence the DUI. But let's take things directly from the source. Let's look at some videos of him.
Troll stalking person, and he's been in trouble for doing this too. So, and you know what? It's emotional distress. He calls all my businesses. He tells them that I'm a pedophile and all these kind of things.
Well, you are.
Oh, you're gonna call me a faggot? Okay. Well, you're politically incorrect. So, bye. Allegedly. So,
Allegedly.
And having people come up. His name is William James Witt, W-H-I-T. So, and he's... Yeah, and if you look him up, he goes by Ganville.
Anyway, he then spends a really long time in this video talking to the police about getting trolled. Despite what Jesse Slaughter's father thinks, getting trolled is not a crime. Anyway, I only showed small parts of this video because it's annoyingly narrated by what sounds like a 13-year-old girl, which I suppose I should have expected. But yeah, leave the hack narration to me, sweetheart. But why narrate at all when you can listen to Aaron's new jams?
Everything, but they never listen. Gotta admit it. I got the game of submission. Got everybody's attention. I know the truth, and I am not kidding. Already finished. You start back at the beginning. How am I already winning? How am I already winning? How am I already winning? I'm going in, but I'm off it. Left it all to get right. I know the guy in the cockpit. Drinks on me tonight. Too many songs have overloaded. All these drugs have overdosed. You better pay what you owe or leave it. Put your back like scoliosis. Pray to the Holy Ghost. One more time, make a toast. This is a life of my dream, like I still haven't woke. But I'm more awake than a lot of you folk. I'm just a misfit, needed some whiskey soon as it.
Yeah, to be honest, it sounds about as good as any of the garbage they're putting on the radio nowadays. Also, throughout the video, he drinks out of a turkey baster. Yeah, I thought I should point that out. You know, he's a real artist. He has to point out that he's not some little cheese pop.
That's why people don't understand. It's like, I'm not like this pop star, little fucking little cheese pop.
Like, seriously, why does every song nowadays use that beat? Can we please go back to every song using the amen break? At least the amen break sounds good. And here's his older brother mocking his Fail Brothers' crappy new music. But there might be some other reasons for the brotherly beefing. Yes, besides the death threats.
He's a serial rapist.
And here's Aaron with a terrible haircut playing at some dive bar. First he does some kind of, I don't know, freestyle, I guess you would call it.
Let's go.
Then he breaks out the old catalog. Wow, this song sounds unbelievably creepy coming out of the mouth of a 33-year-old man. And the crowd goes mild. And by mild, I mean no reaction at all. Actually, like, is there even a crowd? I mean, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he just rented out a club for his own amusement so he could perform for nobody. And he continues to embarrass himself. He staggers in and out of the rhythm, and he slurs his words throughout.
Go! Finish what you started. Daily party. Daily party. Treating my life as a first girl.
I was diagnosed at 19 with the condition of a 90-year-old man.
You know, I'm an old man in spirit too, but it's not a medical condition. And finally, here's some miscellaneous bits of lunacy.
I want to come stab his wife and unborn child. Going to a psychiatrist, going to a psychologist, going to a therapist. They're 3 different entities.
I have bipolar and schizophrenia. So
What'd you say? Hey, how about you go fuck yourself? Stick your own dick up your own ass.
I got a fucking 9mm and I got an M1A. Where's my paperwork? Oh, because they're little bitches. And I make them work for me. Little fucking peasants.
Okay, so this insanity was, yeah. How can I even advise this guy? He made more money than I will ever make at the age of like 13. Or at least on paper. I'm not entirely sure how much of that money Lou Pearlman or his mother were embezzling. I can give some very pertinent advice to this society we live in. Please stop putting children in things. Yeah, like, seriously, how many child stars have to go completely insane before we stop doing this? I mean, at best, a former child star will become a douchey Twitter whiner like Will Wheaton. Well, okay, if you want to be technical, the best former child stars end up being successful adult stars with terrible personal lives. I mean, at worst, you're going to get criminals, drug-addled maniacs, and amateur pornographers desperate for any attention. Why is this the case? Take your pick. Wealth and accolades beyond the dreams of avarice at an age where you're not remotely prepared psychologically for it. Being given nigh unlimited power and prestige at an age where you desperately need boundaries and discipline. Getting all of the above only to have it yanked away from you when you dare to go through puberty and stop being cute. Or maybe it's just the bad touch from 40-year-old pedophiles, because that seems to be pretty common too. Again, I can't prove anything, but it's feasible is all I'm saying. Whatever the case, I genuinely think that instead of de-aging elderly actors into their primes, we should use that technology to make children in movies, instead of subjecting children to the Hollywood lifestyle. It doesn't seem to go well. This man needs help, severe amounts of it. This guy was a whipping boy to me and all my elementary school friends, but as an adult man, I will say, this man needs help. Severe amounts of help. I'm Larson Halleck, and try to make sure your life is not anything like this. And now, a word from our sponsors. Hello, are you a fan of Larson Halleck and the Barbaric Gentleman? Of course you are, otherwise you wouldn't be watching. Would you like to help the channel grow? Here's how you can. You can go to patreon.com and pledge some money, joining the ranks of the illustrious heroes you'll find at the end of the video. You can also go to paypal.me/LarsonHalleck to give me some money, or you can follow me on social media, at Larson Halleck on Twitter and Instagram. I don't use right-wing grifter sites like Gab and Parler because they suck. You can also buy my books. The links to do so are in the video description. And of course, please subscribe and spread the word. That name again is Larson Halleck, and I hope you enjoyed the video.